Good morning.
Morning.
Dustin Huffman. No kidding.
Well, I'm not in a hole yet. Or missing. Not yet. Yeah. Hey, so if I do go missing, he's the last person I spoke to.
What's your last name?
Hayes.
Hayes.
Yep.
Dustin Hayes, yeah. I was doing some research on mainly ChatGPT. I was curious what ChatGPT what kind of information it would bring about, PTSD and, specifically, the soldier's lifestyle, that after the service, we spoke about this quite a bit, acclimating to being back into society. I was looking at the different types of treatments people take and what works, what doesn't work. You opened my eyes on the bigger scale of the problem, which is they don't get enough help, but also your personal experience, which was an eye-opener, an interesting thing, because I think that there's, from what I understood, and the different, service men and women that I spoke to, they have very similar experiences to yours. And the problems that you faced trying to get back into, social norms.
It is interesting because we do find ourselves with a similar pattern when we get out. One, struggling to reintegrate into society. We feel like we don't fit. Depends on how you get out. We all feel broken. We feel like we are not of value to society anymore. It's a psychological thing. It was this mindset that we have created for ourselves during this time of trauma. And I believe it was just built. It's a mechanism, right? For survival. Your mind is in that survival mode. So it's making this thing up that is not true.
Right.
When you were in service and you're doing your job.
Do you think it comes from before you enroll? Also, like your lifestyle before you enroll, how prepared are you mentally to do that and to get out of it? Do you have to prep for it ahead of time? You think?
To get it? No, I don't. I mean, you can take some. Now they have like boot camps you can go to prep. Navy boot camp isn't hard. Marine boot camp is harder.
But Army. Is it a psychological training? Because I know it's a physical training that you know what I'm talking about, psychological?
Yeah.
Like this is going to end and you're going to get back to this.
I think you just go in there, be yourself, because they're going to break you down and they're going to build you back up as a team. That's the whole idea behind boot camp. Let's break who you were down. Now let's rebuild you. And now let's rebuild you into a unit. Now, it's not saying you're losing your personality.
No.
Not losing who you are.
But you're losing your team.
But eventually. You probably never really had a team before. You probably had some friends, right?
Right.
The friendships that you had before the military aren't going to be like the friendship that you create in the military. You're not really creating a friendship. You're creating a bond. And this is a lifelong brotherhood type of bond. There's people I haven't spoken to in years. Right. They hit me up on Facebook, Instagram. Hey man, how are you doing? Holy smokes, I can't remember this time, blah, blah, blah. We reminisce. Hey, how are you doing? Hey, I saw you were doing this. Now technology is great, right? We can keep up with each other. But we've built that bond where we can instantly go back.
Gotcha. Can you tell us a little bit about, first of all, what you did exactly? Break it.
Yeah.
Okay. As much as you can
Let me go back to the first question. So
okay.
Let me go back. So your experience going in, can you break it down psychology? For me, I was already going into the military with some mental health issues. I was abused as a child.
How many are like that?
I would say the majority are probably going in with some type of issue because they're trying to better their lives and get away from the situation they're in. Me, I was trying to get the heck out of the situation I was in. So that's where I went and was like, you know what? I can work the farm. I can work the family construction business. And I've been fired and quit both of those many times. And me and my dad really weren't getting along. And I really wanted to get the heck out of Oklahoma. I knew there was something greater out there. And the way I was going was I was going to be in the grave, in jail, or homeless because I was, partying, doing everything except for what I was supposed to be doing, school, focusing. So I dropped out of school, joined the military. I was abused as a kid by my grandma, sexually and physically, until the age of 8. And then my mom was never really in my life, so periodically coming in. So she kind of did that mental roller coaster on me.
I see.
And then my dad was there. He was my consistent person, but he was never really present. Does that make sense?
Yes, of course.
Like he was a protector. Hey, if I needed him, he was going to protect me. He provided as the best that he could, but he was never really present, and I was missing that mother nurturing part of my life. So I went into the military already with some issues.
Some baggage, yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, some baggage. And I think a lot of people do.
Did they fix some of it?
It did.
What did they fix? What would you think, what? It stabilized me in this area? Or
Because it actually gave me a stability. Now I had stability the first time in my life. Wow. I didn't even know what stability was until I joined the military. And I was like, wait a minute.
That's
I get
huge.
food, shelter, which I never went without. My dad didn't, I didn't go without.
You're
but
retraining the child within.
Yeah,
literally. Okay, I got to tackle that kid. Back to square one. Let's put him on a schedule.
Yeah, so it was like a reset for me.
Right.
It also gave me a drive, purpose, and a mission. I never had any of that. I didn't have no drive. I had no purpose. My purpose was going to smoke another joint with my buddies. Going chasing a girl over here. That was what I had as a child. That's what it was. There was none of that. Join the military. Now that was ingrained to me. Now I'm doing something way bigger than myself. Now let's fast forward 9 years in my military service. I get told to go do a job, and that's to fly drones, UAVs. So I was a AO, ABF AO, aviation boatswain's firefighter, aviation boatswain's fuels for the first half, and I was an aviation ordnanceman for my second half.
I'm assuming you didn't know anything about aviation before.
I had no, absolutely
Nothing.
not. I mean, that's a plane. It flies cool. I'd like to get on one someday and go flying, right? Yeah. That was aviation for me. But I had no prior experience in aviation. I mean, I was a high school dropout.
Right.
So
So it did give you a lot.
It changed my life. It completely redirected my life.
So before we continue, would you recommend in general, after everything you've been through, would you recommend to most people to actually join the military for those benefits?
Man, that is a super difficult question to answer.
I want a quick answer. Yes or no? Can you do it?
No. Not everybody needs to join the military. Yeah, some people...
Okay, let's touch back at the end of our conversation.
Okay, all right.
Let's touch back to that. Okay.
So we go back. I get volunteered to go fly drones. I told him it was by my commanding officer in the reserve unit, and I said, no way. I don't think I'm a good fit. I really don't play video games, and I don't want to sit behind a computer. He says, great. I'm going to sign you up, because that's how he explained what flying a drone or a UAV was.
Right.
So now I'm in this program. Now I'm in this pipeline. My wife at the time is pregnant, and now I had to go tell her, I'm going to go do this job. I have no idea what it is. I don't know the timeline. I don't know the training portal. There's nothing. It is just some big black hole to me that is, and we were the first people to do it.
Oh, I see. Was it new technology or something?
It was new for the reservists to get integrated into this kind of platform.
Oh, I see.
Because they needed people to go do it. They were in a shortage.
Still are.
Oh, yeah. Well,
the whole military, right?
Yeah. I mean,
nobody wants to go there, right?
It depends on where you want to go with that. Yeah. I can go so many roads.
I know.
But so they were in a shortage. So we went through the training, excelled in the training. I didn't even believe in myself that I can actually go do this. I was scared, I was scared out of my mind. Like, man, I'm going to fail. Like, I've never done, even in my military career. Think about that. My military career, I'm scared I'm going to fail. Man, I haven't failed already. But I was scared at this moment because it was so new.
Where were you stationed?
Here in San Diego. Yeah, I was stationed in San Diego most of my career. I was out in Virginia for about a year and some change. I did a little bit of time in Jacksonville, Pensacola, and then the rest of the time, and then in Oklahoma.
Right.
Don't ever recommend getting stationed in Oklahoma. I'm from Oklahoma, so take my word on it. It's not a destination you want to go to. Love Oklahoma, love how I was raised, kind of ish. But yeah, don't recommend it. San Diego, if you want to get stationed somewhere, San Diego's the place to be.
Got it.
And don't let them trick you going into China Lake or 29 Palms, because that is terrible. So so I was out here. So she had her family here, so that was great. We had that support, right? So I leave, go do this training.
When did you finish?
When did I retire?
Yep.
2013. I was medically retired. Yeah, 2013. So went to the training. Boom.
You came out. What do you do?
Out of the military?
Yeah, I'm just curious. You get out first day. What do you do?
Oh man.
Is your mind still there? Are you like,
no,
oh my God, I'm ready
man,
for the
I was
world?
in shambles, dude. I was
shambles. Really?
I was shattered. I was broken.
From what?
Well, from PTSD, from physically.
When did that start?
That started 2011.
From all the
Yeah.
operations.
Yep. 2011. So, and then I ended up injuring my ankle out in Afghanistan. And that is what really just catapulted my military career just to plummet. So, I got hurt. Instead of getting off of my ankle and doing what probably normal people would do, I did not do that. I kept on it for another 5 months and was just popping Motrin like it was going out of style. And stayed on it because I knew this mission was bigger than me. I knew people's lives depended on what I was doing. We were already shorthanded. So there's got to be sacrifice.
What I'm trying to understand here, how does an individual, I understand the whole battle mentality, the strongness you have to handle that. I get it. The question is, there's no preparation for this thing.
No.
None.
No.
So you're going in there already broken into an even worse situation. They're asking you.
But check this out. They also sent me, they didn't give me any training in combat. They taught me how to fly UAVs, but they didn't send you to SEER school. So that would be the training going to combat would be
but
like
they
SEER school.
know this happens.
Yes, they know this
Up to
happens.
60-70% of people go through this stuff.
Yes. Now, not 60% of people go to combat.
No, I'm talking about the mental, the PTSD stuff that happens.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not even talking about people who don't even claim that they have PTSD. There's many that don't even say it because they're trying to be strong and all that stuff.
Correct. Well,
Right?
So if we're talking about on active duty, so there's a difference on active duty and then when you get out, on the help that you get. Active duty, the mentality right now, and I still believe it's this way. I know it's this way. You say I have PTSD, I have mental health issues, you're no longer deployable. Rightfully so. I understand that. We can grasp and we can wrap our head around that. But that is also the beginning and the end of your career. Because now you're not looked at the same. Now you're looked at weak, now you're looked at broken, and that's how they treat you. So you try to reintegrate back into the community.
You think they're wrong?
Oh, yeah. I think they're wrong. I think they're wrong.
How would you treat a person like that?
Hey, let's go get them help. Let's go get them help. Let's get them back to
But how are you
functioning
gonna do that?
healthy.
Hold on. The whole purpose of that army is this. This is your job. So if you're not fit to do the job, you want them to stay doing the job and get help? Is that what you're saying?
Not necessarily doing the job. Like, we're not going to have them go deploy overseas.
Right.
Again, we're going to stop that process, right? No, I get stopping the process. You're no longer going to go into another war zone. You're no longer going on another deployment, whether that's Navy, Army, Air Force, Space Force. It doesn't matter which branch of the military.
Right.
Let's get them help. Having PTSD doesn't mean you're broken forever. Right. That's a very fixable thing.
Yes.
But their mentality is you're broken forever. You'll never be mission ready.
And
And then you get back into your command.
So you're thinking that, if I'm getting it clear, that if somebody has PTSD and they fix it, they're actually stronger and better to go back and handle it.
Hell yeah, because now you have the tools.
Now you have the tools. Yes.
You have the tools to handle the stress that you're about to endure again. Now you also have this clarity in mind of what you were before, and you get help because you don't like that person. You don't like the way you're feeling. Now you got those tools. Now, not every instance is going to be the same. Now, sometimes you're going to say, hey, yeah, you should get out. You should maybe not do this anymore. And those are justifiable. I can understand, wrap my head around that. But most people want to get healthy and get back to doing their job. They want to continue the mission.
They do, huh?
Yeah. I mean, that's...
Really?
Yeah, because from 18, most people come in when they're 18, 19. and they do 4 or 6 years, or if they're a career, a career making the military a career, they're in there for going to be 20 years. So most people want to continue that mission. Now people want to get out, cool. But the problem with getting out and not being fixed is a huge other. Now, if it's combat related and you got PTSD, you're 57% likely to be homeless and also have develop a drug problem.
Let's talk about
and
that.
finding it. Okay, all right.
You leave the military, and this is across the board. You see lack of, blending into society.
Yep.
No friends.
Yep.
Or
you usually develop some friends outside, but it depends on your structure of friends, right? I was so lucky enough to have patriots as friends.
I see.
Not just military people, but patriots and blended with veterans. So they have a deep sense of loving their country and loving the people who supported them. So they supported me.
Right.
Now, they didn't get me a job. They didn't do anything like that, but they were there. We shared some beers together. We've talked we shed tears.
Right.
Now transitioning out, it's a whole different aspect. Like if you're just thinking you're going to get out on day one, hit the ground running and go find the $1 million job, holy smokes, I got news for everybody. You need to start 24 months in advance. That's a different set of words, though. Once you tell your command that you're not going to be in the military, you are treated differently. You're not going to be part of that clique. You're not going to be part of, whatever that whole bringing you up, building you up. They're like, okay, well, he's out. See ya. Done. Whatever. They stop caring about who you are and stop caring about the development of that person. Happens time and time again.
And you think they should care?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, I can understand of looking at promotion-wise. I can understand that looking at jobs or extra jobs or training.
I'm just thinking like they have so many people that they're dealing with in and out. And then you have your actual job that you're supposed to focus on. And don't you think it's better? I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but don't they need to focus on what exactly their job description is versus being all over the place and not being focused?
Yeah, so you have a primary job. Right. And then you have these, secondary roles that you're going to play, like a military safety or motorcycle safety officer to 3M officer to whatever your role is. You're going to have some kind of secondary, UAV maintenance. I mean, whatever that role is, you're going to have a secondary. Most people have some kind of secondary. There should be some. Now, you don't have to go. They just get treated different. Now you're treated a little bit different. You're not really cared for. So I saw this time and time again. Hey, I'm no longer going to be out. Okay, well, this is like instant, man. It's just like something clicks inside of military people, man. It's just like, okay, see ya. You're no longer really part of the clique. I need to find somebody who can do this. And they can function.
The superior?
Oh, yeah, it's leadership.
It's leadership.
This is leadership down.
Got it.
This is leadership down. And there's some justification for it, right?
Right.
Because
that's what I'm trying to find.
You have to
find that justification.
You have to go and continue the mission. Because the mission is the most
That's
important.
what I'm trying to say.
But you don't, a person getting out, it's not like they're useless. They're still gratefully useful.
No, but they're useless for this.
It depends.
For the mission.
It depends. It depends on how it is. Not necessarily. So what happened was I was on the Nimitz and everybody who was qualified left. Either got out or transferred. Went somewhere else. Now we were on this shortage of trying to find people, right? So I think they could have combated that. Once they said people were going to leave, they probably could have reversed some of those roles by how they were treated.
How is this different than somebody who's working in a company and quits?
Well, you can't just quit the military. You can't just wake up on Monday and say, yeah, I quit, see ya.
Not quit, fired. You were fired, technically speaking. Okay, fired, fine, no problem.
Yeah, so getting fired, then you leave that day. Because you don't really, in company, in civilian life, right, you don't find the bonds that you find in...
That's not true, man. People
I'm
build
not
the
saying
companies and their whole life is that company. Some people.
I agree, some people, but that's not the culture, though.
No.
The culture is...
Today, no.
How do I get to the top of the ladder the fastest? How do I make the most money the fastest?
Right.
That's staying at a company 2 years, going to another company 2 years, going to another company 2 years.
Yeah.
That's today's culture, right?
Yeah.
So you don't really find that loyalty, that integrated bonds that you build like in the military, right?
Okay.
Plus, in the military, you're building a different bond. You're going to war with these people.
Yes. No, I completely
So like,
get it.
it's a different mentality.
It's a different level of intensity.
Yeah, exactly.
You're completely engulfed.
Completely.
Yes.
You know.
Okay, we get the point of that.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Let's talk a little bit about what would you recommend, first of all, to those veterans who have left and have PTSD and all that kind of stuff. What do people need to understand when dealing with these kind of people, right?
Yeah.
And then the second part is going into the military, what you should do. So you kind of like, I don't want to say avoid or be prepared for this type of thing. Because the numbers are high.
Man, you are asking two wildly separate.
Let's start with the first one.
Yeah. So how do you when you get out, what you could do first, mental health treatment. Transition stress is real. When you have PTSD, that compounds.
How do you know you have it? I'm sure some people don't even realize they have it.
Well, because you're going to feel this heightened sense of like nervousness, anxiousness. You're going to disconnect from people. You're not going to find the satisfaction of things that you used to like. You know, like it'll go down a little bit. Normally, the transition stress will subside once you get out and becoming into a new routine. So finding a routine is important. Finding that readjustment period inside civilization is also super important.
So what is the first thing? First thing, go do this.
Well, if you have PTSD, mental health.
Number one.
Number freaking one.
Okay.
Number freaking one.
And they can help you, direct you in the different things.
Yes.
Like whether you should focus on work or this or that.
Yes. So PTSD, let's fix that.
Mental health.
Because if you don't fix that, everything else is going to be in shambles. Yeah, you'll probably go get a job, maybe.
And there's governmental programs for that.
Yeah, government programs. There's private programs.
They work?
Absolutely. Wounded Warrior Project. Yeah. I know there's a lot of bad rap about Wounded Warrior Project. They helped me out greatly. Operation Homefront also helped me out. Another one for financial resilience. So financial resilience and mental health play a very similar role, because if you're not financially stable, most likely you're going to develop some kind of mental health issue because of that. You're going to go into some kind of, maybe not even mental health, it's going to be a mindset. So you're going to change your mindset, and now you're going to go to this. Now you're not confident. What people are confident in the military. When they get out, they don't feel as confident because of you lost your uniform, you lost your rifle. That is no longer part of your identity. You're no longer donning that uniform on every single day. Now that's not a forgotten memory, that's a memory in the past. So now you have to go find that drive and find that purpose. So if you're dealing with PTSD, mental health issues first. If you're going and you're just getting out and you're dealing with some transitional stress, go find purpose and go find a drive. And those are two separate things, you know what I mean? A purpose could be, hey, go volunteer at youth program, or go volunteer at church, or go help people who are transitioning themselves, you know. And then that drive, what is that drive? What does that look like to you? What is going to drive you there? What is going to give you that drive to succeed? And that's defined by every different people are going to have that different drive, you know. My drive was helping people out. My purpose and my drive are kind of almost parallel, because I want to help other people who are in similar situations than me. And so that's my mission, you know. And I don't like saying mission, because you're in the military, that was your mission. It's a vision. So you got to reestablish your vision, reestablish your purpose, reestablish your drive. That's the biggest thing you need to go do. Employment's also the biggest thing. Gainful employment. When I transitioned out, I was broken. I was in shambles. I was told I was no longer an asset to the military. I was a liability. That played a huge role in my confidence. I was 195 pounds when I left the military. I was 275 pounds a year and a half later. I was eating my way through the world, you know, but I wasn't chewing through my problem. So, you know, so I was coping with food. Food was my vice.
I see.
So, you know, everybody deals with this: alcohol, drugs, you know, being violent, you know, all depends. Also, they gave me a buttload of pills. So Oh yeah, because I was medically retired. So how I transitioned was different than somebody else just getting out, right? Because it wasn't the normal process. So when I got out and they retired me 3 days later, which I will tell you this, what the government did do right, and I applaud them, they actually combined my VA and me transitioning out at the same time, so that way I was not without money. Because back in the old days, is you would have to get out and then start your VA claim, and that would take 12 months. And now you're in this this bad financial spot if you didn't save up for it. So what they did right was absolutely combine those two. So a week or two out, I got my first VA check. So I was like, okay, well, finances, okay. I'm okay now. Yes. But they sent me a box, man. I mean, a good 12 by 12 by 12 box. Of what? Full of pills. Oh. Yeah, full of pills.
Well, and is that a good thing?
No, that's not a great thing. Doping you up full of pills. Oh. They were giving me medication to I was having side effects from certain medication, so they give me another medication.
Oh my God.
And I was just like, so I was just doped up. I mean, they were giving me, so I was on like naproxen, Flexerol, oxycodone. Man, I can't remember. I mean, there were like my wife got the box and opened up. She was like, "Oh my God!" And I looked at, I was like, "What?" And I looked at, I was like, "Wow!" I just saw the rest of my life. And this is not going to get better. But I took it. And then I was actually kind of violent on a couple of them, it made me not a good person, now I wasn't abusive or anything like that, but it was just, I would have severe anger outburst. Also PTSD, right? I'm not really continuing my treatment for PTSD.
I see.
I see. So now I didn't continue it on when I left. They didn't get that quite right. They helped out a little bit, but they did do well. They did the best they can, but you got to understand something. When you're in the military, you have a structure. Yes. When you get outside the military, that's gone.
So maybe that's the key. Maybe the answer is for the beginning stages of your reintroducing into society, is to try to mimic as much as possible that level of, all the things that would make you happy there. Do you know what I'm saying?
I agree. I agree.
If you need camaraderie, find that, because that's what you had. If you had consistency, find that, do that, which is, if you need physical activity, do that. Whatever that was you found that was a very monumental part of made you feel good there, try to reenact that in this society.
I agree. That's a perfect way to try to reintegrate back into society. Right. That's a fantastic way.
Great. I'm glad that's okay. Thank you very much.
That's a wrap.